There's been a lot of conversation around CRT, or what is known as critical race theory. And whether you believe that it's productive or counterproductive to society, it is debatable. We often debate whether or not race should be discussed, at all, even though, it affects all of us in some form or fashion. I'm going to show you a video that I found on TikTok. And what struck me about this woman's story is, how she eloquently deconstructed the idea of critical race theory and what the actual intention is. Race is such a volatile subject, even that the mere mention of it can strike up emotion, before understanding the direction of its topic. I've internally debated whether children should be taught CRT or whether we should just, leave it alone and just hope the society fixes itself over time. Don't talk about racism and hopefully it will just go away. But so many kids struggle internally with race and they may never, ever talk about it. Children often wonder, where is my place in society? How do I navigate it? Where do I belong? And do I take a side, so to speak? And they can have the most healthy relationships, with other races. But there always comes a moment when they have to defend their position on race, whether it be someone from their own race or from another. And it gets particularly complicated if they're of mixed race and they're forced to advocate, for one or the other. So listen to how she breaks this down and examine your thoughts on the matter.
One of the most prevalent arguments we hear against critical race theory is that it's going to teach children that they're racist. Typically, this is where we start saying it doesn't teach that at all. It teaches that the country has racist foundations, and we still see the effects of that today, but I'm not going to go into that. So at no point in this story could I ever have been older than 8 years old. My brother and I were just hanging out on the deck, and I looked down and I saw my reflection in the water. And I said to my brother, I am so glad that Now this brother's only a year older than me, so at the most, he can only be 9 in this story. And without skipping a beat, he says, I know, right? And I said, we could have been any other race, but we were this one. How lucky are we? By the ages of 8 and 9, we already understood the advantage that we had in this country and in that state for the color of our skin. And this is why I adamantly believe that people that oppose critical race theory are not afraid that it's going to teach children that they're racist. They're afraid it's going to teach those children that their parents are racist. Because all these people seem to forget what it was like to be a child. They act as though the only place that children learn is in the classroom, when in reality, everything they observe and every experience they have becomes a teaching moment. Critical race theory does not teach them what racism is. The world's got that handled for them. Critical race theory teaches the roots of where those observations come from, how to acknowledge it, and how to start deconstructing it from an intrinsic individual level, which eventually can turn into a systemic level. And here's possibly the saddest part of that story. My older brother is black. Even though he was significantly older than me, our town was so small that the same bus picked up K through 12th grade, so we always rode on the same bus together. One of the reasons I was so aware of how differently black people were treated was because I saw it happen to my brother every single day. I didn't learn that in the classroom, but you best believe I learned it. I don't even bring that up to say, well, I have a black brother, so I can't be racist. Quite the contrary. As an adult, I have sought the tools to deconstruct that experience, but 8-year-old Alyssa was not only not given those tools were withheld from her. Now, me and my 4 brothers have always been like this, still to this day. So was I sad and hurt when I saw how he was treated? Absolutely. But as a child, I was grateful that I was not going through that same experience. And I wanted to cling to that privilege in any way I could to make myself feel safer. Now, if you are never given the tools to deconstruct that experience, what kind of adult do you think that child grows into?
So there you have it. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section.